Kaven, and I have the pleasure to be here with Rohan Weerasinghe. Hello, Rohan.
Hi, nice to meet you, Sven.
It's very, very nice to be here with you. We are at the Victoria Statue Park. That's just right behind the Parliament, the Westminster Parliament, exactly. And Rohan, I'm very, very happy to be here with you because you're one of the key speakers at the National Achievers event.
I am.
In Nuremberg in September. I would like to introduce you to our audience, and perhaps you can give us a little insight to who Rohan is and what we can expect from you.
Thank you. Well, I mean, right now as I stand in front of you, I'm an entrepreneur, an author, and a professional property investor. And alongside that, my biggest passion, I guess, alongside the whole business that I have, is to be able to take the message out to people on a broader basis and show them how, no matter what their current circumstances are, they can take themselves from maybe a sense of frustration or a career that isn't quite taking them to where they want to go to a whole new experience, a whole new journey. And I've been doing that now in front of thousands of people for the last 10 years or more. But it wasn't always that way. I grew up, my father came over from Sri Lanka, which is where the name Weerasinghe comes from.
Okay.
My mother's English, and they met in a very difficult time back in the 60s. And during that period, they had myself and my two brothers, and we grew up in a very working class background. So my understanding of wealth, because the National Achievers Congress is about wealth and wealth building, was you just had to work very hard. If you got your head down and worked really hard, everything would be fine. Those rules don't really work anymore. We're in an economy, we're in a global economy, which the rules that most people are following are from 50, 60, 80 years ago. I grew up in that period. I'm actually 46 today as I talk to you. And my father worked very hard. He's a highly academic person. At the age of 46 years of age, the very same age that I am today, my father actually passed away. He had a heart attack, left my mum with two sons and myself, and she worked very hard to bring us up. And so I studied, I got a degree, I got a PhD, I followed all the rules that we're supposed to follow in order to be successful. Only to discover at the age of 28, 29, 30 that I was frustrated. I was looking around me at my career and the people that were older than me, and I just decided I wanted something different. So as Robert Kiyosaki would say, I went from employed to self-employed in my early 30s. I broke out, I became a consultant, I had a PhD. So I thought, great, I'm going to climb the corporate ladder, be very successful in that area. And within a few short years, I just became more and more frustrated because I realized that I was only earning money for time. So if there's anybody watching this right now, and maybe you're highly paid or you run a business right now, and you're feeling frustrated and you realize that you want to do something different, I made a big step and I got into property investing. Went on a 3-day educational course. I knew nothing about property whatsoever. We had one property that we'd bought, and our goal was we were going to build wealth by saving up money, putting it in our pockets, which obviously is very difficult to do in the economic climate now, especially if you look at the euro and the European market at the moment. And we then decided we would save up every single year and buy one property, and maybe for the next 10, 15 years we'd end up with 10 or more properties. This 3-day course taught us that if you plug into the right system, get a mentor, and use creative financing tools, ways to approach sellers and buy properties in a different way, you could do it completely differently. And we bought 40 properties in 1 year with virtually nothing. So it went from me being an engineer with my head down, being a consultant, doing all technical work, to never really having to do anything for anyone else again, 1 year after our first 3-day training. And since that time, we've expanded our property business. We went into developing properties. We went into what we called shared accommodation, houses of multiple occupation, created a lot of financial security for myself and my family. And the biggest passion alongside that has been teaching other people how to do the same thing. So I feel privileged now that I'm standing in front of you, sharing with people from all over the world about the National Achievers Congress, because it really is the biggest event of its type in the world. They're fantastic.
So the big subject is really wealth creation here. And why do you think people are scared to actually go this step or learn about this, how to do it, how to do the best? Is simply because they're put into this way, the parents have told them how to deal with money?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, Sven, and I think if you look around the world, fundamentally we might have different cultures, but at our core we have fears, we have beliefs that are built into us. I mean, I meet people from all backgrounds, and when I say money is the root of, they often finish the sentence, the money is the root of all evil. But in fact, that's a misquote. It's an obsession. It's a love of money. And people do literally have this programming that you shouldn't ask for more, you shouldn't stick your head up and look around and expect to have more than you've got already. And I think what's happened is the economy has become very challenging in the last 5 years, and we are in the darkest, deepest recession that I think in yours and my living history, and most people watching this right now. And we are going into this second phase, the double dip, and that fear has come upon people to such an extent that they're wanting to stay in their job, hopefully keep their fingers crossed, and maybe stay in their job, maybe their business will survive. But the reality is that it's time to take control, and that's what the National Achievers Congress is really about. That's what my message is about, is saying to people that you can invest in property and real estate, you can do it in the right way over a longer period of time, aim for 2 to 5 year plan, and we help people become financially independent inside of 2 years. And we break the mindset of fear, and we show them how to do it securely. And I think that's probably the biggest fear. People are afraid to step out from here just in case they lose that security they've got over here. Whereas with things like real estate, you can actually do it in stepping stones and still have the security as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think when people are afraid to actually lose something, they will stop.
Yes.
Or they see the benefits of actually doing it.
Yeah.
Rohan, the German event, I believe this is the first German event of the National Achievers Congress.
Yes.
And what drives you actually? What motivates you to attend that event?
I've been in front of audiences around the world: Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, America, Canada. I've been into places like Denmark and India. I've never been into Germany and spoken to a German audience. And I think, for the Germans listening to this right now, and the Italians, and anyone across Europe, but particularly in the German market where there's a long and strong association now with the euro, there's genuinely a fear. People don't know what's happening. They're uncertain about where the economy's going. They're uncertain about their personal situation. And my message is to all of those listening right now is that whatever your circumstances, if you're in a career, you're in a business, and you've got fear, I'm going to come to the table with a set of tools that can help anyone become financially independent. And I think the German market really needs it, particularly on property investing, because I've met many Germans that have gone looking overseas for property, down into places like Spain and into Portugal, and they've looked for investments, but they haven't known how to do it. What I'm very privileged to be able to do is bring to the table a set of tools that we developed over the last 10 years that can help anyone become financially independent. Doesn't matter what country you come from, and I think the German market is absolutely ready now. People are desperate to find other ways to create wealth, and we can certainly do it through property.
But from what I understand, from what I'm hearing when you're talking about the subject, it is not just about actually having the skills of doing it, but having the understanding and
Yes.
also accepting that I need to get educated.
Yes. Actually, you've picked on a subject that's very sensitive for me, because degree, PhD, technical papers. Just a few minutes from here, I received an award from the Institute of Civil Engineers in my old career, highly awarded for my profession. But the reality is this, that in 2012, as we stand here, anybody that is not prepared to re-educate themselves, and it's not even about education now, it's about re-education, I think they're going to find themselves what I call being hit by the juggernaut, and the juggernaut is the current coming economy. The American market's struggling, the European market's struggling at the moment. There are some global economies that are emerging, and what we're finding is the most successful people now are not the ones that stay and do what they keep doing and thinking, I'll just stay on the treadmill. They see another opportunity to re-educate themselves. So I think the message really for anyone listening is it's not so much just about education, it's about re-education. And schools don't teach it. Universities don't teach it. I've taught at university level. I've been all around the world teaching in academic institutions, and nobody teaches what you learn at the National Achievers Conference. Nobody actually, at that Congress, nobody in that environment gets the opportunity to really learn wealth tools. And what the National Achievers Congress does, better than anyone else in the world, it brings together the best educators in wealth, which doesn't happen in university. So my message really to anybody is come into that environment and learn something new, mix with great people and re-educate your mind and allow yourself to receive wealth, because that's what truly wealth is about. It's about receiving it as well.
So actually everyone can, if he or she wanted it, really reprogram their minds in order to be able to go this step.
Yeah.
Not just to attend the Congress, obviously, but to actually be successful.
Actually, it's more than just attending the conference and the Congress and getting into an environment with several thousand people. It's more than that. It's going into that environment, and I say treat it like a shopping trip. So you walk into a shopping market and you take what you want for your meal for that day. Right now, the NAC will be an opportunity to take what you need. Some people might want to learn about property, some people might want to learn about the stock market. And I say to people, come along with an open mind and take what you need for that moment in time. But you have to put the work in, you have to be disciplined. It's not just about being there, it's about momentum and getting the momentum beyond it. In fact, just as we're standing here now, we're going into the Paralympics. So we've had the main Olympics, we've got the Paralympics coming up. About 7 months ago, I taught a gentleman that lost both his legs in Iraq. And he sat in the audience and he was wanting to re-educate because he said that when he lost his legs, his biggest challenge wasn't the physical problems, it was the mind. It was reprogramming his mind to get used to a new body. He's actually performing in a week and a half here at the Paralympics in London. So it's great to see somebody be prepared to re-educate themselves in every way. And he's on a wealth path as well, as an academic, as a Paralympic path as well. So very much it's about training the mind.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I've been interviewing John Curtis, the Australian, who will also be attending the Congress, and it was an incredible interview actually, which I was leading there. And he said, you know, Sven, what the difference is between giving 110% or the best you can?
Yeah.
And his answer was simply amazing.
Yeah.
Because his answer was simply give the best you can, not 110%, because you can never reach 110%.
No. In fact, I have a phrase, and it's one I know people like Tony Robbins use as well, which is, if you aim for something like perfection, you never achieve it. I have a lot of people say to me, well, everything has to be perfect. I won't go to the NAC until everything's perfect. I've got all my finances, my partner, only if my wife or my husband will come with me, only then. If it's perfect, then I'll go and then I'll do something. Nothing will ever be perfect, and in fact people that use perfection use it as a chance to self-destruct, because they'll never quite get to where they want to get to, and then they become what we call paralysis of analysis. So I was like that. I had a PhD, I was very academic, I was arms crossed, I'll just wait for everything to be exactly right. And you know, if you look at the German market, for example, historically they're very methodical in their approach. Look at the car industry, it's phenomenal. And I would say if somebody's watching this right now and they're thinking, well, I'm not sure if I should go, maybe I should wait for everything, the economy's not right, that's exactly when people need to act and be there with us.
You know what, let's get people a little nugget of what you actually be presenting there. Can you give them a tiny preview of what they can expect?
Yeah, I would say this. I mean, my subject's going to be real estate property because that's my specialist area. And I think anyone can buy property. So anybody listening to this right now, anyone can buy property. The question is, are you buying the right type of properties and do you have the right strategy? Because we meet a lot of people that buy what we call these armchair investments. They're off plan. They see a company come along, a nice flashy property, looks great, they buy it, it loses them money, it doesn't create cash flow. I'll be going through a 7-step process which can be applied globally. It doesn't just have to be applied in the European market, it can be applied anywhere in the world. And it's a system that we've now proven works for anyone that puts it into action, and it can work them towards financial freedom. Now inside that 7-step process, I'll also be talking about one of the essential key indicators to be able to look at the market and say, okay, if I'm going to buy now, what if something changes? What do I need to evaluate now that can guarantee now is the right time? Because I can take that indicator and I can show anybody, if we went back 5 or 6, 7 years, it was exactly the wrong time to buy in certain parts of the world. So we can take that indicator and apply it to any country, and bang, immediately you can say, now's a good time to buy. But just one last thing on that. It's not good enough just to know when to buy. It's also important to know what type of property to buy. So I'll actually be illustrating for the people that are going to be attending some what we call cash flow properties, because my purpose is to show people how to become financially independent. You know, we focused on that in our first year. We bought 40-odd properties. We bought properties that produced a passive income, which means that when the rent comes in and you pay all the expenses, there's a surplus cash flow. And at the actual NAC, I'll be showing properties that produce 400, 500 euros a month, or pounds, right through to in excess of 1,000 euros. That's after all costs. So then people can add up, maybe I need 3 or 4 of those. Hey, I'm out of the rat race now. I don't need to do anything else. I can step away from my business or my job and start to focus on something different. So I'm going to be filling, I mean, I speak quickly, as you can see, and I pack a lot into the time I'm on stage. So I'm very excited. I'm going to be sharing some really powerful tools with people.
You're talking about passive income. What does it mean personally to you?
It's a good question. I mean, passive income, by definition, means money that comes in every single month without you having to do anything. I will be sharing, however, on the stage that you can get to financial freedom through 2 or 3 different vehicles, and I'll be explaining that, 2 different paths. But ultimately you want to get to passive income, whereby, you know, while you're asleep, while we're standing here, money's still coming in every single day and every single month. If you ask me what it's been like for me, I mean, let me give you an example. 12 months ago, 2011 June, we just decided we were going to sell up our home here in the UK. We have our investment properties here, and we decided to do some travelling, because when you're in a position where you don't have to go into a job every single day, we can travel. So we went off to Denmark, which isn't too far from you guys, spent some time in Denmark, then we went to Sweden, went off to Australia, New Zealand. Then we thought it's a little bit cold in the UK at the moment, so in October, November, we went to Barcelona, and this is myself, my lovely fiancée who's Danish, and my daughter who's nearly 4 years of age. She certainly will be by the time we get to the conference and the NAC. And we just took her on a journey of experiencing the world. So we've been in Barcelona since, let me think, since October last year. Then came back, did a little bit more traveling. So that's one of the benefits of being financially secure, is that you don't have to answer to anyone else. But I guess, you know, somebody said to me, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? More than anything else, if you're watching this now, it's a sense of just calmness. It's knowing that you don't have to answer to anyone else. The alarm bell's not rushing around so you're screaming off to work. You're not having to wake up in the morning and stress about where the next bill is going to be paid, because you've got assets that every single month are paying that. And it's just being able to choose what you want to do more than anything else. And that's certainly a message I'm going to share.
Does that make life more enjoyable?
A lot more enjoyable. You can see, I mean, I feel like I'm getting younger every single day, and I have fun. That's the most important thing. I enjoy the process. Don't get me wrong, I still love doing what I'm doing. You know, I speak in front of audiences because I have a passion for it, which is a business which takes up time. I also build my property business, and I have an education side to what I do as well. And as an author, I'm always liking to write new things, but that's because I'm filling my time now with things I enjoy. And I think that's the difference with financial freedom. It allows you to choose what you want to do rather than do what you have to do, and there's a big difference there.
What would you say to people, last question basically, what would you say to people that don't dare to do the last step and say, okay, I would come, but...
I would say this: if you're watching this right now, if for any reason you're hesitating to even come to the National Achievers Congress, to pay for the ticket, to get in a car, get on a plane, whatever you need to, I'll be flying there. I would say this: act now. The biggest thing that holds people back more than anything else is apathy and just waiting and delaying and perfection, as we talked about earlier on. Do whatever it takes to be there. This will be the most transformational experience. This is the first time this has happened in Germany, the first time. So you're going to get a chance to mix with some incredibly influential people, some amazing thinkers, and to be in an energy, a dynamic that you'll never have experienced before. So whatever it takes, cancel appointments, move your holiday, turn off the TV, block out the time. The National Achievers Congress is going to be the most amazing experience, the most amazing experience for anyone watching this. It really will be phenomenal. So I would say just do it, get there, whatever it takes.
I have nothing else to say.